Hi everyone, it's Leanna here. John's actually trying to get GoToWebinar to run on his phone because he's actually been traveling. So it's just like downloading on his phone right now. What I wanted to do, just while we're waiting for John to get on, is I thought I'd also open it up for any questions that you may have with respect to lead generation or Facebook ads, since that's actually what I do for John. And I know we talked like a little bit about Facebook in the first session, but if you have any questions about that in the meantime, while we're waiting for John to come on, I'd be more than happy to answer those questions for you as well. So, um, okay, wait, I see John is coming on. Okay. One moment.
All right, am I unmuted now?
You are unmuted.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, guys. Yeah. So let's start all over here. All the power went out in our house about 15, 20 minutes ago. So I made a mad dart downtown to try to find a place to plug my laptop in. Because it too is out of power because I got in at 3 in the morning last night from delayed flight, so I one after the other. Yeah, and I forgot my headphones. So there's no way for me to do this except on a phone, and there's no way for me to show you any of the stuff I was going to show you. I'm just going to tell you what it is. So one of the things just can't help. But what we'll try to do is do our hot seats still. I have no idea if I can do that on a mobile phone or not, because I'm literally in a car running because my phone was dead too, so I had to charge it in the car. And then I'm going to tell you where to go for there's nothing much homework wise except to do is just study a couple of uses of primary causes. So we're going to try to do this here. I'm going to try to connect this to where it's actually coming through the car rather than through my mobile phone. So just give me 2 seconds here and let me see what I can do here. Not exactly the best app in the world in case you've used it before. Maybe someone will know how to use it. But
Okay.
I did now. So looking around.
Okay. I just let you know I am sharing the slides. And so if there's anything you need me to try and share, I can definitely do that for you.
Well, there's nothing on the slides anyway. The slides, it was all going to different websites and stuff like that. So, because what we do on Fridays is we dissect copy. Unfortunately, we've got Leanne at the hospital. We got me in the middle of nowhere, and there's no way to access the copy we were going to show you because it's all on my computer, which has no power on it. So, I can tell you what it was going to be. And so I know that we had a couple of folks up for homework, and I'm not sure if because I'm not able to see the screen at all. I'm just looking at I'm not look. Yeah, I have no idea. If you guys can give me a second here and give me props for at least trying. um, yeah. Let me see here. Okay. All right. Okay. I think I'm getting into the screen here. Can you share the homework that we were supposed to share today? And I'm going to see if I can see it on a small phone.
Sure. One moment here. Let me pull it up.
It'd be so cool if this would actually work.
Yes. Let me pull up Tim's here. It's on my screen here. And just one moment. I think I have to log in as you to see the niche, right? One moment.
Fun, huh, guys?
Here. Do you see my screen?
I see the login screen. Yeah.
Okay. So I just need to log in. Let me see if I have your login here. One moment. You might have to message me your password.
Yeah, and turn off the screen. So I'll see if I.
Okay. Yes. No problem. My screen is paused, so you can go ahead and.
Okay, I'm trying to. Okay. Okay. That's interesting. On the app, there seems to be no way to. I don't see a way to message, so I'm gonna have to message you on Skype.
Sure. Thanks for hanging in there, everyone. Okay, he's just sending me his login.
Okay, guys.
Okay, one moment here. Okay, great. So I have Tim's up. So let me also unmute Tim as well.
This is actually going to work.
Okay, Tim, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay,
Hey,
great.
Hey, John, flight delays are fun, huh?
yeah, it just makes it that much more of a challenge to get through this, but that's cool. You know
We'll
what's
get
funny
there.
is that I've never seen my software on a mobile phone before. It's just not geared for it. So I'm glad I got 20/20 vision or close to it. Okay, so let's get to the uh, Tim had a couple of good things here. I, I have no way to recall what I wrote on. I wrote on your homework and I wrote on a lot of people's homework. So I know I saved it in the name field. So if you resave the name field, I don't have it. But I do know that that let's start with the niche, Liana.
Okay.
I know that we're going back in time a little bit here, but that's because Tim hasn't had yeah. So Tim changed it to back pain, and so Tim originally had lower back pain, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I'm remembering shit on 3 hours of sleep, I'm doing pretty good. I don't function on 3 hours of sleep. I don't function on 7 hours of sleep, man. So okay, let's go to Avatar. So that's good. So the point I want to make there, back to avatars, is or back to niches and avatars for that matter, is your niche again can be the quickest way you can possibly say it. Now you can say and should say, and it's totally cool, that you should say low back pain is a perfectly good secondary version of that niche. So you can change it back and forth inside the app. So you can say, you can go back and forth between back pain. He says when it comes to low back pain, and you can do that specifically. So when people think of back pain, they're thinking of, yeah, I mean, very few people only have localized back pain. So that's another thing. As someone who I know that suffered from that in a major way, so I get it. So let's go to the avatar. Yeah, so I thought this was great. Back pain suffers is exactly how I say it too. So again, I'm coming from my own experience of having dealt with that for a long time. So a pain warrior, yeah. Now, what's interesting here is your use of avatars. I wanted to go over this here. So it's clever. Uh, you know what? It's pretty clever because I've never done this before. So Tim, you've done something that the creator of the software has never thought of before, and it's actually a pretty damn good idea. I can't see a fault in it, and I wanted to like give you a little bit of praise here on the call because I've never used back, like for example, back pain sufferers. I would say a back pain sufferer. In other words, the singular version of the same plural avatar. Tim changed it to a pain warrior, and I'm just really curious. Can you let me scoot this thing over here. I ride and market to back pain sufferers. So as a pain warrior, you'll find this interesting. I found that pretty damn cool. So thanks for the tip, Tim. That I think I might try that in my own stuff here. Now,
Great.
another way to do that, just FYI, it's not that because I create like 6 or 7 avatars at one time. Um, and I'm getting one text message after another. So I'm sorry, guys. I don't know if that's showing up on my screen or not, but if it is, let me know. Um, but I don't think so. I think only Liana's screen is showing. But so you could say back pain sufferers, a back pain sufferer. Then you could say pain warriors, a pain warrior. So that would give you that's how I would have done it normally. But it's just kind of interesting if you don't want to create two avatars. That's a good idea. Okay, let's head to we're going to go through this really quickly. The secondary complaints. Let's go to the primary complaint rather, present. And yeah, this was very, very simple. But I want to call attention to Tim's use of the term battling, constant lower back pain. So you could say battling back pain and battling constant lower back pain. Those are both really good. So just the use of the word battling is, again, back to the warrior, the analogy of warriors, right? So dealing, so lamer ways of saying that would have been dealing with lower back pain. Even suffering through lower back pain may not be, it's okay. It's not bad. It's certainly not bad. Suffering is all a good word. Battling is a visceral verb. It has a connotation that you're doing something and that you're not taking it lying down. No pun intended. So I thought that was great. Let's look at your secondary complaints, the present one real quick here. Okay, so yeah, and this is what we see a lot in secondary complaints. And so so those are going to be really long. Let's look at the proof. Oh, sorry, Leanna, that's my bad. I think, is it my bad? Yeah, okay. All right. Okay, let's talk about constant lower back pain.
Okay.
When you're avoiding prescription medications and there are unpredictable side effects, expensive new diet, so those are long. So those are all individual secondary complaints. So you want to say, so in other words, also a complaint isn't, I don't know that somebody's complaining about avoiding prescription pain medications. I think they're complaining about taking or being forced to take prescription pain meds. So I would think in terms of complaints like taking prescription pain meds, suffering from undesirable side effects. Really short, okay? But those are two different things, and then break those out into very, very short. So again, the mantra here throughout copywriting in general is to be succinct and short. And I had a great letter I was going to share with you that was like dealing with complaints. That was like, are you this? I mean, it's like one or two words, but I don't have to share a whole letter with you to do that. So you guys can imagine this. See, are you taking drugs? Dealing with doctors, in pain. Well, that's that's the primary complaint. But you get the idea. You can make these super short, and I think they read better in copy. Okay, just for time's sake, we're gonna have to skip to the second part of your homework, which was the causes part. So let's go to causes.
Okay.
Can you go to
Sorry.
causes, Leanne?
Yeah.
Just scroll down to the end. Click
Here we go.
causes.
Down here. Sorry. I had to find my
Yep.
uh scrolling
Yeah,
bar
it's all
here.
right.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's funny because it disappears on me. Okay, find the right doctors. However, the truth is, can you scroll down? Truth is, okay, not that far, not that far. Scroll up a
Okay.
little bit. Yeah, there you go. Okay, that one in your lower back pain. Why? Okay, yeah. Now notice what I said here. I wanted to draw this one. Tim did great for let's keep the copy short. Okay, but he stopped where he said that won't end your lower back pain. Why? Because that's a very controversial thing to say, and I love it. I love when you say, perhaps you've tried going to doctors. Well, yeah, everyone with lower back pain has tried to go into doctors. I mean, and if you said that won't end it, well, why? So if you can just say like, some sort of a thing, that won't help, and the reason will shock you. It's, I would elaborate that more in copy, but for this, I would say, that won't help you because X, why? There's something there that people would want to know. But I did like the name of the midleaf, which is down a little further. Again, I can only see part of the screen, so yeah, the doc deception. So the concept of deceptions, of being deceived, those are really interesting ideas. If you think you're being, now just imagine someone suffering from lower back pain getting an email that says, the cause of lower back pain, doc deception, like, or just are you being deceived by your doctor? Is the concept of it, even if the mistaken belief name is okay, the concept of it's very strong. Are you being deceived by your doctor concerning your lower back pain? I call it doc deception, and then there's some story there, right? So the idea behind these mistaken beliefs, and stuff is to get you guys to think in terms of stories. Because if you say this, you have to tell a story, right, Tim? I mean, if you
Yes, sir.
say, right, if you say the doctors aren't going to help you, you're forced to tell why. So I'm basically, by forcing you guys to come up with these kind of pithy little names, you have to explain them. By coming up with false beliefs, you have to, by the nature of them, explain it. And it opens up for longer emails, and this isn't the place to do it, but longer copy inside sales letters where it's you can tell a lot more about it. So uh, so good. It's good work, Tim. Let's just expound on it. Excuse me, guys, and break up those negatives. Let's break up those consequences. Keep or break up the secondary complaints so that we can keep this. Any specific questions, Tim?
No, John, that was good feedback. I did have a sense after I did those secondary complaints that they were probably too long, but I ran out of time to fix it before we.
Okay. Yeah. No worries, no worries. Well, glad glad this helped, and yeah, keep going, because I think that you've got some good ideas there.
Great. Thanks, John.
Thank you, Tim.
Okay, we're going to move on to Daniela. So let me just unmute Daniela, and I'm going to pull up her niche.
Hi, John.
Hi, Daniela. How are you?
I'm great. And you?
I'm exhausted. I'm sitting in a car in a doctor's parking lot somewhere. I mean, I'm just happen to be in a doctor's place, so trying to look at a little small phone screen. So, but hey, commitment goes a mile, right?
All right.
All right.
Before we move on to Daniela, I just wanted to share one comment that came in when we were looking at Tim's avatar. Judy says, this is interesting because Tim is using 3-word avatars. I was struggling to get my avatar to be just 1 or 2 words.
Right. Well, so 3 words is your max, right? That's the rule. I say 2 because I know someone's going to cheat. But when you're dealing with, you could say pain sufferers, like if you really wanted to like get down to it, like if you wanted to cut it down to 2. Again, these are exercises to get you to think in terms of being succinct. And like a few folks did, and Brennan did, much to my surprise, because Brennan, I was on a laptop with an 11-inch monitor and simply couldn't scroll the screen down. I sent the complaint to my tech department, and it ended up not being a tech complaint on the software. It ended up being an issue with my actual computer monitor. So I couldn't scroll down to the end of your screen to see that you had more than 2 entries. So I didn't see the 3rd entries, or 4th entries or whatever. So yeah, and it was working. Sometimes it wasn't working. Anyway, so back pain sufferer is fine. Pain warrior is even better. So I think a pain warrior is a tier 3 avatar. So let's get on with the Daniela.
Okay, here's Daniela's right here.
Okay. Okay, so Daniela, let's go to today's assignment, which is the primary cause.
Yeah.
Causes. So, yep. Oh, I'm sorry, Liana. I said Daniela.
No worries.
Control my software.
Here we are.
Okay. You should eat many small meals throughout the day in order to keep your metabolism high. That's great. Okay, so that's really, really good. Okay, and by the way, the truth can be as long as you want. You can ramble on. I mean, obviously you want to keep your sentences short and concise. So if you do say, if you're writing what you're doing there, that this is perfectly fine. Somebody asked me the other day, I think it was Davi, that said, when is it okay to write in longer sentences? And one of the times I think it's okay to write in longer sentences is when you're a stream of thought, like you're saying, this is going to sound really shocking, but eating raises your metabolism, slightly. So when you're at da 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 da, and so you can kind of go on and on there. Now she could put a period there, digesting the meal. Period. It's not the total amount of it. You could break that up if you really wanted to. So,
Okay.
but my point is that yeah, that's perfectly fine. Okay. And avoid periods in copy pro, otherwise you'll end up with 2 periods. It's one of our little rules is we deal with punctuation. Meal overload's great. And by the way, that's a really solid mistaken belief. Meal overload it has a good I look for rhythm in copy. John Carlton and I have gone on and on about this because we're both musicians, we both are obviously copywriters, and we talk about the importance of rhythm in copy. Rhythm and a lot of good hooks and a lot of good copy in general has a rhythm to it. So meal overload, you can hear the rhythm, right? Da 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 da.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's good. That's really good. All right, cool. Let's scroll down a little further. I think she's got more than one.
Okay, yeah. There's carbs depletion as well, a second
Yeah,
one. Let me
yeah.
pull.
Okay, so yeah, let me look at this. See, you have to carbs at the dinner plate. Okay, let's scroll down. Okay, again, avoiding periods. Can you look at the proof section over there, Daniela? Can you scroll over, Liana, excuse me, and take a look at the proof section? Or you're probably there and I'm not. Sorry. So if you guys zoom up on that, where'd it go? Yeah, you see how at the end of protein's favor, you've got dot space. You know,
Okay.
you'll end up with periods and stuff like that unless you let us do that. That's just a little tip for the copyright users. Okay, so the belief is that you have to leave carbs off the. Now that's interesting that leave carbs off the dinner plate is again a visceral way of looking at it. Like, so cut carbs out of your diet. That's one way of saying it. And I'm trying to get you guys to hear this. What I'm saying. Cut carbs out of your diet is perfectly fine. A way to say something like this. Leave carbs off the dinner plate is better, and the reason it's better is because it's the leave out feeling. You know, no one wants to feel left out. We've talked about this before. That's one of the driving emotions, is to feel included. So leaving something out off your dinner plate, you can see that, can't you? Like, cut carbs out of your diet, you can't see it. I mean, unless you're like me and you do this for like half your living, you can see it all the time. I see it every freaking day, but most people can't see this stuff, right? What does that even look like? But and even if you can't know what, even if you don't know what a carb is, you can see your dinner plate, which I think is great. So remember, we're going right back to week one, right back to, you can see how this stuff's all stacking on top of each other. At least I hope you can, because remember we were talking about using words, like remember how I was going through that exercise where I was saying how I could get into the sight get into senses of people. When I say, do you see what I'm talking about? Maybe your eyes can be open now. That's all visual, right? So the question is, how do you get visual on 2D? Stuff like this. This is visual. Leave carbs off the dinner plate. She didn't even use like a C or you keep your eyes off the blah blah blah. You didn't have to. You didn't have to. So I think that's really really good. So believe it or not, okay, can you scroll now? Now you have to scroll down, I think. Okay, right there. Okay. Eh. Okay. Now my screen is frozen. Okay. Can you scroll down a little bit? A little bit. I can't read her. Okay, there you go. You can lose weight and enjoy carbs over dinner to meet people. Okay. So carb depletion is a technical term in bodybuilding. So I would think of like something. Depletion's not a. It's sort of negative, granted, but you might want to think of something other than that, because if I hear carb depletion, I'm thinking, especially as anyone in fitness, they're going to be thinking, oh, well, that's, you're depleting carbs to fill up your glycogen stores, you know, with the carb rebound. So just a little FYI there. So not bad though, but
Okay.
yeah, and also I think this could be an English a language thing, but you pluralize a lot. So carbs depletion, it would be
Mm-hmm.
carb depletion, but that's just I'm getting nitpicky here and not trying to be too much so. But this is great. I mean, you did a great job with the exercise. Let's go to your primary cause. I want to look at that. Okay, yeah, I think we talked about some of these. Now I posted this in the Facebook group, that which one of these do you think was the winner? And I wasn't, yeah, guys, I had like unbelievable problems traveling yesterday. I mean, 3 flights were canceled or delayed. I had no Wi-Fi on some of it. So it's like there was no way I could, like, I just, yeah, it was kind of weird. I'm in a first world country and I can't get to anything. But so I posted on Facebook. So I don't know if anyone responded, because I haven't been able to check. But I screen captured Daniela's, all of hers, and said which one of these really jumps out as the one that's really good. And I want you to scroll down a little bit, Liana, and show all of them. So you got mid-afternoon munchies. Okay. No, yeah, don't open them up though. Just close them so we can see them all. You just click on the top, click on mid-afternoon munchies. Yeah. Now scroll down.
Yeah, I'm showing the whole screen.
I can't see it though.
Okay, I apologize.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've
Okay,
got,
got it. Got it.
okay.
Cool. Thanks. Okay. Now, okay. See, Daniela, this is another thing with my laptop yesterday where I couldn't scroll further. I didn't see the last one. Okay, but I saw, so the one that leaped out at me. See if anyone else, please comment, guys. This is not a one-way, two-way conversation. You guys can comment all you want in the chat. Which one do you think like sticks out as being like, if you saw it, you'd be like, oh, that's kind of scary, and I don't really know what that is, but it sounds pretty scary. So there's one in here. Well, now there's two. I didn't see the
People are
last
saying
one.
the famine brain and the exercise hoax.
Okay, so the exercise hoax isn't bad. Okay, it isn't bad. I've used it before, but glucose sabotage is the one that leaped out to me, because sabotage, I know kind of what glucose is, but I've heard glucose in relationship. Okay, for me, of course, I know exactly what it is. But let's say I'm the average person, right? I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not in the fitness business. I don't have to be. I kind of know what glucose is. Like we kind of know it's blood sugar, right? I know it has something to do with diabetes, right? Sabotage, I know what that means, and I know that probably is not a good thing to go together, right? So that one right there created a lot for a reader that knows nothing about fitness, created a lot of interest, I think, or would create a lot of interest. That was my take on that. The famine brain, that was, I didn't see it, so I didn't comment on it. And if I screen capture that, by the way, and I didn't see it, so I just took a
No, you didn't see it. No, you didn't see it because I was working on it this morning, and I thought at that.
Oh, I thought, well, maybe it's the same thing happened with Brandon, but okay, yeah, your famine brain. The famine brain is really good. I just that you could open like a whole email series on famine brain. You could even drop the if you wanted to, but I like either way. But glucose sabotage is really, it's scary. Hoax is the exercise hoax would make a good article, a really good article, but. So Daniela, am I correct in assuming that and please forgive me if I'm wrong, that you weren't you came into a copywriter blueprint and you're not a 20-year veteran of copywriting, right?
I'm a paralegal.
Yeah, so you are new at this, right?
Completely new, yeah.
So I just want to say you're doing a freaking great job. I mean, she's doing a great job, guys. I think we should all give her a round of applause. It's a
Thank you.
virtual round of applause, but it's a really great job on this stuff. This is not easy, and yeah, you're doing well. So I wanted to say that's awesome. So keep
Thank you.
that up. And the only thing I would suggest doing is like mid afternoon is cute. But I know exactly what that is. I don't have to read the article. Are you suffering from mid-afternoon munchies? But if I saw, are you suffering from mid-afternoon munchies, it would make a here's the solution kind of thing. It's not necessarily a belief, It's like I would think it's more of something I would be suffering from. It's more like a cause trigger or something to that effect. When the cause triggers around those are things that cause the cause. So around working through the new stuff, and this is good. So any feedback, guys? I can see comments here, so comments.
Okay. Yeah, you were breaking up just a little bit there, but everyone, John was just asking for questions or feedback. And yeah, the famine brain actually won when everybody posted their votes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I would have chosen that one too. My runner up is still glucose sabotage.
Interesting. Nobody chose glucose sabotage.
Well, guess what? I'm sorry. You're all wrong. No, I'm just kidding. You're all wrong. No. So yeah, seriously, famine brain is great. So good job with that.
Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Now I'm going to give you guys what I was going to tell you. You're going to have to visualize this. There's just no way around it. You can look at my pretty picture here, and look at my my booty of captive ecstatic clients headline there. So what I was going to do is take you to a couple of websites that I wrote and show you how I used primary causes and how I used mistaken beliefs. One of them is oldschoolnewbody.com. So oldschoolnewbody.com. Now that starts off with a lander page, okay? And it's and this started the very famous $50 million sales letter blueprint, which you all have because you are in. Yeah, that's right. You can pull it up. Duh. Um, but you guys have this, so you have the blueprint that I created after writing this letter. Was the source of the $50 million blueprint, which is in CopyPro. Now it's going to require you filling out every single freaking field practically in your niche. So it's not this is not. And by the way, you're going to do that. That's the final homework assignment. Yeah, so it's not an easy endeavor, and it's by the way, it's for extra credit. You don't have to do it, but if you do, you'll get a sales letter that looks somewhat like this. Now, so there's a lot of mistaken beliefs here. There's a lot of things I'm using in throughout this whole letter. There's a whole lot of did you know, and you can see this here as you go. Like did you know, did you know, did you know, and that whole 3 question thing, which is you can see the going back to aging faster than normal. That's obviously push, right? And I back it up. Right? You know that something else negative. Did you know everything else? Now, did you know we're doing push, pull? We're doing the same thing we've been talking about since day one. Okay, this is an energy talk you go on through here. So I get social proof right off the bat. Now this is just this has become a very much of a blueprint because this was one of the top letters on ClickBank for years, and they still run traffic to this, and I have yet to edit it. So this has not been edited at all, which is now looking at it, I would edit the living shit out of it. I really would, but it worked real well. So it's made a lot of money. It's made over $10 million. So let's go to the next page now, but before we do, before we do, I'm going to point out a couple of things. And by the way, I hate to do this with my own letters, but I was just stuck. Leanne is dealing with a whole bunch of stuff. It's good stuff now. It's not as bad as it was scary at first, but she's having to go back and forth to a hospital all the time, and we simply just did not have the resources. And I was traveling, and I was seeing 2 friends who were in serious hospital conditions in Vancouver, and so we did not have time to find famous copy other than my own. So I've gotten a couple of requests. Hey, are we going to look at some of your copies? So my copy is quote unquote famous. It is like in swipe files and stuff, but I don't like to do it as much as I like to look at historical copy because I'm just kind of like that. I'm just kind of a modest dude. So yeah, so you have to bear with me on this one because it's harder for me to dissect most. Now we got a lot of good things in here. We got reverse the aging process, all that kind of stuff. Now, on a pre-sale, on a lander page, you're going to be negative, positive, and we're going to have to build them up in order to get them to click that next link. But the secret routines of anti-aging experts. Okay, so we're going to go into this thing. It's like to reverse the aging process from a cellular level. Okay, that's a pretty strong claim, right? Now I started 5 key principles. Now, if I had to do this all over again, what do you think I would do? Okay, these 5 key principles. Now, 5 key principles works for cold traffic, getting people into the system. I turn that into one thing, as you can imagine. Okay, but I want you to know something I'm doing very purposeful before they click, because I know my avatar. Can you go back, Liana? You
Sorry.
through it before I told what it was. Very purposeful. Now look at this. These 5 steps reveal the things you absolutely must avoid. I'm just completely negative here, but look at the top of it. Got to warn you about this stuff. The world's gone soft. You have core training, hot yoga, spin classes. Today, I would say, because this was before, you know, this was before a lot of current fitness crazes. But back then, it was core training, hot yoga, spin classes. Those are all fine, but they've gone soft. So I'm appealing to a certain mindset here. I'm appealing to a certain demographic, and I know that demographic. So that's what's going on here. So now I just go through a series of mistaken beliefs. Look at this. Step 1, And this is not the sales page, guys. This is pre-sales page. So let's go down screen here. Okay. Well, we're gonna go back here, pull down screen. Okay. So forget about low-fat diet. So in other words, did you try diets? That probably let you down because blah, 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 blah. Okay. So that's all I'm doing. Yeah, I didn't brand this stuff. By the way, you don't have to brand everything. I'm giving you exercises so in case you do brand something, you can use it in campaigns. So we have this going, so we just get multiple clicks because those are called micro engagements. So we're going one click, one click, one click until you get to the sales page. We're not going to dissect this whole sales page, but I'm giving you the ideas. So let's click the next page and I'll show you. You can see exactly what I'm doing here. Okay, all I see is the next page. Let me scroll down here. Stop running in circles. So what is that, guys? Gym classes can be fun if you like sitting in one place and torturing yourself. So I'm doing the mistaken beliefs without saying, you might have tried spin classes, but they didn't work. Now, that's just one way of saying it, but I'm giving you multiple different ways of saying the same thing. This whole lander was built on mistaken beliefs. So I wanted to show you that. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. You can go through it on your own. But just know that I built the whole lander on the concept of mistaken beliefs. But notice how it's all negative, negative, negative. Stop. This doesn't work. Let's go to the sales page now. Just click through to all the way to the sales page. By the time they get to the sales page, I have a lot more liberty on what I can do. You know, how old you are, you know, avoid chronic, stop working out. So you get the whole idea. Now check this out, guys. We're going to be getting into this, not this week, but it's coming up in the coming weeks. And that is what you should probably leap out at you. The F4X training system is not the name of the product. The name of the product is this old school new body. Okay, so what is that? That is the primary solution. We're going to get to that. Okay, so just FYI, I'll give you a little bit of a hint, So there's a secret to it, okay? If there's one secret, so that's what I'm doing with the one secret thing. Okay, now let's go to the page. Just scroll down. Yeah, warning. I literally give a warning before they even get to the page. The F4X system is definitely not for everyone. But notice how I do my warnings, and this is just good copy lesson. It has nothing to do with what our copy lesson was last week, but it sort of does, because there's sort of mistaken beliefs. If you enjoy spending an hour a day working out, this is not for you. If you think you can spin around your way to your younger like body, you know, okay, it's not for, so yeah. So if you like to work out an hour and a half, so that's a mistaken belief in my. Do you believe you have to work out for an hour a day? No, you don't. In fact, you only have to work out for 20 minutes. Do you think that you have to do endless hours of spin classes and cardio? No. In fact, it's counterproductive. And then I turn it around, because everything is duality here. If you're not prepared to work very, very hard for a very short period of time. So this is hard work. Now, that is believability. I'm tying in believability. We're not going to lie. This is hard. Now, P90X did this very well, which is, by the way, was the inspiration, because this was right around the time P90X was really taking off. Okay, let's go to the sales page real quick. Okay, this is the sales page. So I can get by with so much more on this. Breakthrough research has proven it. That's the only headline. We've tested all these different headlines. That one won for some reason. But notice how positive the headline is. Now I can get by with all that positive headline stuff, because I just did all the negative stuff, right, on the pre-sale page. So now I do the same thing, except I do fact, 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 instead of like, did you know, did you know, did you know? So I'm giving you the model of this letter that's worked out so well. Let's scroll down a little bit further, and I want to get to one last thing here in this letter, and then I want to. Okay, so this is kind of interesting. You see all the did you know, did you know, did you know, did you know? I'm always asking questions. Okay, did you know this? Did you know this? You'll see this throughout a lot of historical copywriting. Okay. Are you afraid of the term old school? Do you think any of these core exercisers or spin class junkies can change their bodies faster than we can change yours? Think again. Okay, so in other words, I'm creating, this is a completely contrarian, everyone else is doing it wrong, we're doing it right, Today's exercise programs are too long. So, but notice what I'm doing. There's a little bit of psychology that I want to, and then we're going to get off this letter. I just basically want to punt this letter over to you guys. Read it. It's definitely worth, you know, copying and putting in your swipe file. A lot of people have got that in their swipe files because obviously it worked. You know, it's a very successful letter, but there's a lot of cool psychological stuff in here. Today's exercise program, the whole thing sounds like it was written by an old codger, you know, like, and no one laugh at me because I wrote it, but that, hey, stop that. I was writing in character. I was writing for Steve. I was not writing for myself. And Steve is not an old codger, but I told him, I said, I'm going to make you out to be a little bit of an old codger. You know, today's youngins are doing them exercise programs are way too long. You know, so that's kind of that was the voice going through my mind. You know, this Southern guy, this old codger, they're keeping you from the body. Are you afraid of this? You know, I was just, I kept having to censor myself from saying some pretty derogatory terms, you know, like I had to censor it out, like, because I wanted to say it, you know, but I didn't say it. So that was the mentality going through my mind when I was writing this thing. Okay. And so just check that out and just notice that there's a lot of proof in here. And we did our proofs on the sides, so I didn't have to break up the copy. So have a look at this. Now, if I wrote this again, I'd write it with chunkier sentences. This was 7 years ago, so I didn't even know about the chunky sentence stuff until about 3 years ago. So yeah, so we all grow, we all change, but this definitely worked. So in other words, there's not a certain way to work on something. Now, the other thing I want to show you, and we can't show it to you here, unfortunately, because you're gonna have to watch the video, is another one of my own letters, but this is a video sales letter. Oh yeah, stop right there. It's one of my favorite sub headlines. Endless hours and new age workouts not required. Who am I going after here? Endless hours and new age workouts are not required. New age workouts. Is there even such a thing? I'm just beating the crap out of the yoga crowd and the core training crowd, and I'm basically calling them the P word. You know what I'm saying? You can hear me saying that. Jason, you know what word I'm thinking, right? You just hear me saying that. It's the guy writing the thing. You know, look at it. It's damn hard work. It's old-fashioned work ethic is required. You can read that in that paragraph. And now before I go, you can see why this works so well. And guess what? Our average buyer was a 56, I think. So yeah, it worked out really well. The answer, and there's only one, is found within the Forex method. And guess what? The Forex method is not the product. It is merely the primary solution. And in case you're wondering, was I modeling P90X? You damn straight I was. You damn straight I was. I was looking at P90X going, well, it worked for them, so I'm going to come up with my own X. Came in with F4X. It's equally bad. it's equally bad as P90X, but it worked really well. So kind of funny. So the next letter I wanted to share with you guys is a video sales letter. I know we haven't done one of those, and I was going to show you. I can't show it to you now, but I will show it to you when I get my computer back. I'll post it in the user thing on Thinkific in the member site. I was going to show you and I don't like to brag, like this is not trying to brag at all. This is trying to show you like kind of a holy shit moment. My accountant said, hey, where's this money coming from? Was just the other day. I said, well, there's only one account that's attached to a video sales letter I wrote like 2 years ago, and I promoted it twice, I think 2 or 3 times. We have a different version of it called 4-Day Diet that's about to be promoted like crazy, but that's not this one. This one's called the 4-Day Thyroid Diet, and I was running a traffic to it, trying to run traffic to Facebook from Facebook, and just never quite got it to convert right. It was converting okay, and just dropped it. And I emailed my own list to it 3 times, I think, and then I just left it alone. I literally have not opened that account in, I don't know, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, something like that. I came back in there, and the account almost earned $1 million. And I was like, what? It's like, what? This is not something I'm like actively working on. So the reason why, obviously, it was a good VSL, right? I want you to see why it's a good VSL, because it's got a really good primary cause called iodine resistance. Now, I know you're not going to be able to see it. I had the slides. You're not going to be able to see it now, but just visualize this with me. It's called, go to the number 4, 4daysthyroidfix.com. and you don't have to go there now because it's going to be nothing but a VSL. But you can see the screen for it. And we won't play this thing here, but this is an ugly VSL with about the first 1,000 words with stock video over it. Notice how we do the we always keep your words on the bottom of the screen as if someone's got the closed caption hearing on, because again, people read. Never take the words off the screens. Okay, so what's really interesting here about this video sales letter is I link all of this to one cause. Okay, there's one cause to this whole thing, and it's called iodine resistance. Okay, it sounds like it completely once you get into it, it's a completely medically verified term. I just changed what the term was. I called it my own term. So I was able to say, oh, iodine resistance, we're the only folks that are really talking about this stuff. And this was written, it's my voice, but it was written in by, I wrote the video sales letter, but my partner in this particular book is a medical doctor. So I was able to run all of it by him, and he just couldn't read the letter, so I read the letter as him, so in case you're wondering. So there's a lot of great stuff in here. Like I say, free viral video. I just tell them it's viral. So it's kind of interesting thing to do there. So guys, look at this foods now, and we go in the 4 foods thing because the 4 foods thing still works. It's hard to beat that for traffic and for cold traffic, but I turn that into one problem, and that's what I want you to know. It's one problem. It's one problem that gets the whole thing going, and it's called iodine resistance. And so this is a great thing to look at for a primary cause. Okay, that's what I had for you guys today. Leanna, we can click off of that. So, oh, by the way, there's some great VSL tactics in that thing. If you guys want to look at it, it's good. And FYI, the new version of this it has nothing to do with thyroid. It's the same diet book. It's just we put thyroid stuff on top of it because thyroid was really hot at the time. So the original book I wrote and the new VSL is converting insanely high. And as soon as we release it, and we just got it tested by one of the top guys at ClickBank. And as soon as that is released in the public, I will let you guys know about that, and I will send you the script for it because I'd like you to look at what I did for the script of that. We're using a lot of the principles here, especially some of the storytelling principles. And again, you're going to see all you're going to see all this blueprint, all this overlaid, even in the really emotional storyline stuff. So, okay, that's what I had for you today, guys. And this is a really rough way of doing it. Let's take some Q&A here for our last 10 minutes, and then hopefully we made this work. Yeah.
Okay.
Someone say something nice to me, man. I'm telling you, I'm on my last leg. My car. This worked. You guys get that out of this? Was this worth the pain in the ass?
Yeah, we do have some nice praise. Craig says props for improvising, adapting, and overcoming. Brennan says you guys are doing great. Thanks so much. Derek said, I appreciate you going above and beyond to make this work.
Thanks, guys.
Judy says you're doing amazing.
It's tell you, man. Right now, it's if you saw my phone, you would see how like ridiculously big old this is. But hopefully it's coming across okay, guys. But really, that's all I had for you anyway. So today is a day of looking at copy, and we were going to basically look at my own again because of the aforementioned time aspects of not being able to dive into the historical copy. But my copy is yeah, it's technically a historical copy. So all right, let's take any questions.
Okay, if anybody has questions, please post them. Daniela says you're the best, John. Appreciate you. Davi says thanks so much. You're really putting in the all. And I'm not seeing any questions.
All right. Well, I'm gonna hang out here for another. You guys got me for 8 minutes, man. So, yeah. Happy to hang out and answer. The questions don't have to be relative to the topic either. They could be questions about anything dealing with copyright or blueprint, anything dealing with copywriting in general.
Okay. Daniela says, John, explain to me a little bit about analogy, and can you give an example?
Sure. So analogy is probably the best way to teach anything, in my opinion. When you're dealing with an abstract concept or or a difficult concept to grasp. I'll give you a great one. Okay, watch my VSL, and you'll see how I have one analogy after another. So it's like iodine resistance. So I'm like, so I was like, I want you to think right now of all the gunk that's inside your car. Like if you open up the engine, you open up your hood, you'll see all this gunk inside of your car. It's just all stock on there, right? That's kind of like what your thyroid gland looks like when it's suffering from iodine resistance. Yeah, that giving like real visceral analogy, people see it. The analogy that makes it even better is an analogy that's not gross, but visceral. That I'll use the word again. That where you can see it, it's like where it's not just we're just not comparing something that's kind of boring. There's nothing much more boring to me, at least, than looking under the car. But if I'm comparing all the gunk and dirt and grime that's on your motor, and your thyroid gland is like the motor of your metabolism. So imagine all that gunk and dirt and grime. That's the same thing. That's caused by the same. I go, you know what it's like? It's like your thyroid gland is rotted.
John, you're breaking up. Yeah.
There's nothing I can do about that.
Okay. So, yeah, do you want to maybe, should we respond to these when you have a stronger internet connection, or?
My internet connection hasn't changed.
Yeah, you're, it's really, it's hard to understand you because I think we're getting like every other word.
Okay, well, I'll respond. I'll respond next week.
Sorry, I didn't understand what you said. You might have to text. Sorry, guys. I'm just waiting for John to text us.
What was one of the other questions? Maybe I can help.
Yeah, sure. So great. There is a CopyPro question. Does CopyPro have different templates based on whether it's warm or cold traffic?
Templates. No, because the template, that is a good idea. Obviously, CopyPro is now mostly email, which is by definition warm, right? So there's that. As far as sales letters, though, that is a good idea, and I will mention that to John that maybe that's one of the tags that we need to have to add. But right now, obviously, emails are all warm traffic. The sales letters that we have, and it's not really, I don't know that I'd qualify it as warm, but I would qualify it more as level of sophistication, like how much they know where they are in the buyer's journey. Like, are they product aware, solution aware, stuff like that? Does that make more sense, Derek?
Okay.
Because if somebody is not problem or solution aware, that's extremely cold. That's more Agora style sales letters. And that's probably where we're never going with CopyPro. I believe we'll always be in the more warm. People will be more product aware and solution aware, if that makes sense.
Okay, Derek says yes. Joel says, I'd like to know if you would recommend using CopyPro email in your Facebook ad. And actually, yes, Joel, I would. I've actually generated copy from CopyPro and used them directly in an ad. You do need to obviously change the call to action a little bit. And you may also, depending on your topic, you also may need to edit it a little bit to be in compliance with Facebook policies. But one of John's best performing ads was actually actually quite a long one that was basically a story in a story format that we used in an ad. So I would definitely use those. Craig says emails can be dedicated drops, which are cold traffic, so that would be cool too, in terms of Copy Pro.
True. Although, when you say cold traffic, like an email drop, generally you're going to someone who has a list of people who have that problem, right? So if you have an offer for like preppers, you go to people who have a prepper list. So it's not entirely cold. Cold to me is like they have no idea. You know, are you defining cold traffic as they don't know you, or they, don't know anything about the offer or, the problem? Because even an email drop is targeted in some way, so it's not 100% cold. Does that make sense?
Okay.
And Judy is saying an email drop. Email drops are, it's when you buy lists. Like there are, actually, Leanne, if you could make me presenter for a sec.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can show you a couple things. There's a site called Dedicated Emails.
Craig says, yes, they're problem and perhaps solution aware. Cold in terms of they don't know who you are.
Right, and that's different. Cold in terms of they don't know who you are means our solutions would probably work, or the things that we have in CopyPro. But this is an example of an email drop. So this company has lists. Just like in the old days prior to the internet, there were list brokers of people who had lists of people who were interested in golf or who had just bought a new car or whatever, right? So same thing with emails. So these are lists of interests, and they say it's in, what do they say? Political, I can't read my GoToWebinar. Okay, political, outdoor, health, and finance. So if you wanted to if you had an offer for one of those marketplaces, you could buy like a drop of 500, 1,000, 1,500 emails, and they will email their list for you. They don't give you names, but you can give them your email and they will email the list. And that's how that works.
Okay, great. She says makes sense.
And I wanted to show something else. Wait, John was talking about old school, new body. And if you go over here and you look at ClickBank, check this out. Now, if you're familiar with ClickBank, it's a marketplace where affiliates promote offers, right? And ClickBank has their own metric of recording offer popularity they call gravity. So if I go into health, which I did, I'm going to say health and wellness. Let me just make sure I'm in health and wellness. And okay, so this is the first page. We see there's these offers. If I go over here to page 2, hang on 1 second. I have to make sure I'm in health because I just had it up. Sorry about that. Okay, what do we see here, right? You know how John said he never edited it. It is old, and yet it's on the second page in ClickBank with gravity of 59.4, which means that there are roughly 58 or 59 affiliates promoting it even today, and this is why he's making money. Highest converting written page on the ClickBank market. So if there's any sales page you want to study, it's this one. Just wanted to show you, it's still running. I think this has got to be 6 years at least. All right, so I don't think John is coming back. What do you think, Leanna?
Yeah, I think his connection or his phone might have died. So why don't we wrap it up, and we will post in the group and also send you an email about Monday, just to confirm that the pre-class meeting will go ahead. And John can also, I think, answer a couple of the other questions that only John can answer at that time. Sounds good, Leanne?
That sounds great.
Awesome, great. Thanks everybody for coming today, and we will see you in the Facebook group.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
Bye.